Alright guys, it's the Bike Rocker Boy, I'm not even set up yet. Anyway, let's talk about I got you a good buying guide for 125. Let's get, there's something missing. Aha, 1 minute. Right, got them. How many times has that happened to you guys? I wonder. Go. You go out to your bike and you go, there's no gloves on my hands. Right, so let's give a. Right, I'm going to give it a good buying guide to buying a 125, which obviously most of us buy at one point, don't we? So basically, there's quite a lot to choose from. There's plenty out there for everyone. And you're not short for choice, and you're not spoiled anyway. You're certainly spoiled, that's for sure. Actually, I'm going to take a different way to college. Yeah, I'll go this way. Right. Just... Right. Couple of things you need to know. Right, there's 2-strokes and there's 4-stroke engines. Right, there's 2 strokes are usually limited. I'm talking about like legal wise here, because obviously you're only limited to 14.6 brake horsepower. Well, there's actually a weight ratio as well, actually, apparently. So I wish I could flash him to let him know, but even so, I can't see around the corner. That didn't go as well. It is hard. And of course, quite a lot of people they sort of turn 17 and go, "I need a mode of transport." Right, and quite a lot of people sort of fall for going for a cheap 125. Chinese 125 precisely. They were talking about here. And then you end up regretting it quite a lot. So, here's my buying guide. If you want the best of the best 125s on the road, go and get yourself a Honda CBF 125. This is the best bike, best commuter bike that there is. Most reliable. Honestly, I've saw one on. I saw one up for sale. Had done 45,000 miles in just 3 years. In fact, I saw one that had been, where I get this repaired? 41,000 miles, and that was only 8 years old, and that had been written off after it had been crashed. So it's not like it had come to the end of its life. And that's a lot of miles. The best part about the CBF as well is like the fact that the maintenance on it is actually ridiculously low as well. The chain tightening and replacement is you don't need to do it at all actually. Very little chain wear. I need to slow that over here. And hang on, let's be training 4. Hang on. So yeah, the CBF is actually a good all-rounder. Obviously it's good on. It's probably the best fuel economy ever. 150 to the gallon up to 150 to the gallon, which is a hell of a lot. That's 50% more than this can do. And then there's also the different types of bikes or 125s out there. Now, there's the types of 125s out there are actually all covered. It's everything from massive cruiser bikes, customs, commuters, sports and super sports are all covered under 125 cc range. The prices, however, are also always differ. They sort of start off from about £599 if you want a Chinese 125. Of course, that will break down very quickly indeed. And right, where's she going? By parking up. Right. So the price range from $699 to around $4.5 grand for a Yamaha R125. Yeah, or is it 125R? Can't quite get it right. But yeah, there's basically the 125 version of a Yamaha R1. So how much do you think you should be spending on a 125? Well, brand new, you should actually be spending at least £1,800 brand new. For that money, you can actually buy one of these brand new, or you can buy a Sinis, like our Spicy's 125. But if you haven't got that much money and if you only got about 600 quid to spend, don't go buy Chinese, go and buy a used Japanese bike. Like, for example, one of these can come down, you can buy one of these for about £600 with about 20,000 miles on. And I know that sounds like you're paying, hang on, why are you buying a much older bike with 20,000 miles on? The answer is actually quite simple. For the next 10,000 miles, there's not going to be that much to repair. You should get severe for the first 5,000 miles of actually owning that bike. You shouldn't really need to repair anything. Likelihood is, and that goes the same for any Japanese sort of Honda, Suzuki or Yamaha. Oh, what's going on here? What's it crashed? No. Was that a Scaglietti? Instead of having an actual window, like a fold down window, it had a flap in it. Did you notice that? A Ferrari F430 Scaglietti. Yeah. So like I say, if you haven't got that much money, go out and buy a Japanese, a used Japanese, or even a used European, like a Piaggio. If you have to do a scooter, go and get a Piaggio or Peugeot 125. And even if you've really got not that much money at all, go and buy a Kimco or a Sim 125. These can actually come down. You can pick one up for about £395 or thereabouts. Of course, these are Taiwanese, so they're not quite as good as Japanese. No, they'll never be good as Japanese. So, if you're looking for brand new, if you're looking for reliability, what should you buy? Solid reliability, a Honda. Good reliability, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Yamaha. Japanese. Very closely second comes then all the European stuff like Piaggio, Peugeot, Aprilia, etc. And third then comes around Taiwanese like Kimco and Sim, and Korean bikes like the Hyosung. The interesting thing about like the Hyosung GT and GT etc. is that it's actually just a 650 frame with a 125 engine in it, and actually the brand new price is about £2,995, something like that. And you're thinking that's a lot of money for a Korean bike. Well, since everything else on it's made for 650, you're not going to be putting that much strain on the on all those parts. It's only the engine And believe it or not, the engine does go wrong. I had a mate at college who had a Hyosung, and all his valves are bent after about 12,000 miles. So, this is my buying guide for 125 as well. If you look for a bit of fun, quite good fun, then go and buy something like the Yamaha's R125 and maybe Honda CBR's 125. But with the CBR's, change the exhaust and change the tyres. Upgrade the tyres as well, and you have a really good bike there. Yeah. And if you want a good all-round, good commuter, Honda CB, old Honda CB if you're on a budget, or a new Honda CBF if you're not. I wonder if you can still hear me at this speed. It is quite windy out today. Going into the wind. It's not actually windy, it's just wind. Still, bike's coping, 60 miles an hour. If you're looking for speed, if you want a good top speed of about 60 miles an hour, avoid the Chinese! This is... it's ridiculous as it sounds, right? The Chinese bike is a lot cheaper to buy. But to run, you only get about 130 to the gallon, or 120 to the gallon. And you're thinking, actually that's still quite a lot. But their top speed is only around 50 miles an hour, if that. So you'd be there forever thrashing it in every single gear just to get up to speed. At least with these, you can. Japanese bikes are solid, and you do the GNs like this was about 60-65 miles an hour quite easily. The CBF again about 65. CBR's 70 miles an hour. Daylem about 72 miles an hour. Daylem is probably the best. Oh, it's another good sports bike choice. Again, people are a bit iffy maybe because it's Daylem. Don't worry about it, because actually there's quite a lot of bikes for sale Daylem with about 12-15,000 miles on the clock. Easy. As for cruisers and stuff, go and buy the... I'd actually suggest going to buy the Honda Shadow. Honda Shadow is probably the best. I'm not dissing Suzuki's Suzuki Intruder. Yeah, Suzuki Intruder. I think it's Intruder. The cruiser version of this. But it has the same engine as this, and it sounds exactly the same. So it's not a V-twin. If you're going to buy a cruiser, you might as well have a V-twin just to go for the sound. You also got the Kawasaki Eliminator, but I do know someone who bought a Kawasaki Eliminator second hand with about 9,000 miles on it, and the entire engine had to be stripped down and rebuilt again. He couldn't understand why they're going only about 70 miles to the gallon. Odd. As soon as he did it, he got about 95 miles to the gallon, so it doesn't pay off. I'm not going to overtake that. I'm not going to get to the front of one car. Besides, it's keeping up the speed anyway. There's a lot to think about when it comes to buying a 125 bike. I bought this about £800 or something like that. The other good thing about Japanese bikes is once they finally break, you can't afford to. It's not costly enough to. What the fuck? Ambulance driving around with no lights on it. Are they actually looking for patients to take to the hospital? I know. Let's see if the patients won't see because we haven't got our lights on. Stop onto the road. We knock them over. Or we can take them to the hospital. Is that what they're doing now? But we're not the NHS, you know. But we're only on the NHS. No, we're not America, are we? We will have to pay for their insurance, medical insurance. Anyway, enough about that. Go and watch Spicy's videos about him and his NHS, about his version about the NHS. He's about right, actually. It's bull, really. You know, they are quite bad at it. At being NHS. Oh god. The final thing is actually about buying a 125 is the actual running cost of buying one. I don't mean like talking about, oh, it does 150 miles to the gallon. I mean the actual repair cost as well. Basically, the average mundane car, the average Corsa, whatever, cheap Corsa, which is also cheap to repair. The parts, even though you pay a lot of parts, they equate to a lot less than, say, the Vauxhall in the end after about 15-20,000 miles. Because when if something goes wrong with Vauxhall Corsa, 20,000 miles, let's say one of the suspension bushes or whatever, it'll cost about 130 quid to replace or whatever. This will probably cost 130 quid altogether in parts. I hate this junction, it's the worst junction ever. It's the only junction, it's the only motorway junction that isn't a roundabout. And yet it's so busy, it's busier than the other junction down there. Am I rambling now? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I'll wrap it up. Right, you want to go buy a 125? Chinese, if you want a Chinese bike, you can buy a Chinese bike. I'm not saying you can't, but make sure you are paying a decent amount of money for it. Like £1,800. If it's under £1,000, it's brand new, avoid. Literally, unless you are literally only using it to do 2 mile a week, because the chances are it will break down a hell of a lot. And for getting parts for these really ridiculously cheap bikes is quite hard, because the only person who's got the parts is the dealer who brought it off, who would have broken down the bike. And in fact, just one final tip is that there are bikes on eBay costing about £600, 125 brand new, sold as spares, and it's brand new and it's fully working because there is no other spares for it. There's no warranty. You buy it, if it breaks, it's your own fault. Right, so that's my buying guide on 125s. Avoid cheap Chinese, and Japanese probably the best way. But it's up to you what type of bike you want and how much you want to spend. Or maybe you want used or new. Used Japanese at 20 years old are still just as good as the ones today. Alright, see you later, guys. Keep riding safe.